again, Whiskey Whippers and Spirit Sippers. One here again, and today we got a special one. It's one I've been waiting on for over a year. Well, maybe not over a year, but close enough. Today we're going to be talking about the Macallan, edition number 6.
Sounds interesting.
It does seem like I've been waiting on this forever, and they still don't even have it up here in Washington. I actually just took a trip down to Phoenix, Arizona. I stopped in Vegas along the way, and they just ended up having it down there. And then they had it down in Phoenix, too. So, yeah, just Washington, it takes forever up here in the corner. We're always the last to get everything. But super excited, finally got this, and can't wait to break this one open and taste it. This is edition number 6. It is the last one in the edition, so this one's an homage to the river spey out there in Scotland, so it's going with the blue color. Oh man, I just can't wait to break into this and taste it. The Macallan, it is 100% all natural color, so non-chill filter. It is 48.6%, so just sitting there right underneath 100 proof, so yeah, this is going to be a good one. Excellent pop. We're off to a great start, folks. Let's get it. Can't remember exactly what I paid for this one, but I remember out the door it was definitely over 200 bucks. So this is definitely the most expensive one in the collection. A lot of them were like $100. Then they started going up, depending on where you got them from. Some were up to like 130, 115, depending. Yeah, this one was up over $200, so definitely the most expensive one, the highest proof, and who knows if it's going to be the best flavor. Only one way to find out. Oh, it definitely has that just distinctive Macallan smell. Macallan is Macallan's a lot expensive, and it's more expensive than most things. But you have to give them a little bit of leeway because I'm guessing they use the very best casks. And if they're using the best cask, those are a lot more expensive. So, if they're using the quality product, you're going to have to pay a little bit more for the end result. And for the most part, that end result is absolutely delicious. I warmed up the palate with the Macallan 15, the fine triple cask, fine oak triple cask. This one smells a lot like that with it's like that, only just a little bit fruitier. Oh man, we get to jump right into this one. It's a non-age statement, so we'll be able to jump right into it and just let it go. We'll let it chill in the glass a little bit before we drink it, but on the nose, very distinctive Macallan. It's almost like a tart honey smell, like a candy tart honey, like a fruity with a fruity character behind it. Oh man, there's also like a sweetness in there. There's definitely a sweetness and a fruitiness, and like the honey's there. But there is like this little bit of like a sweet tartness to it. Like it's sweet and tart. At least on the nose. And you can definitely tell. This was made by 5 different casks. First and second fills. Just depending on what they're putting in there. But American oak. And they put in all sorts of... used all sorts of barrels for these. Definitely have all kinds of different flavor influences. Oh, there's just like a crisp bitterness right off the gate with this one. And then it kind of smooths into it, kind of getting some of those barrel notes, oak notes, and then like a fruity sweetness on the tail end of it. You know what that sweet bitterness could be? It could be that could be a ginger smell. It's kind of sweet, but a little tart, right? Like a little tartness right behind it. That could be ginger. Yeah, that could absolutely be ginger. And there's kind of there must be some sherry butts or some sherry casks in here because you get just the tiniest little bit of that Macallan funk on the back end. It's real prevalent in the 12 and the Sherrywood 12, but there's just a tiniest little taste of it on this one, or tiniest little smell on this one. Oh, but it's just covered up by ginger and honey and fruit. Oh, I've been waiting for this one for so long. Let's hope it doesn't disappoint. Fingers crossed. Let's get it. Cheers. Wow. For almost 100 proof, that is smooth like butter. There's almost like a little bit of a cinnamon zing. There's no burning or dancing on the tongue. You get just a little bit of that tickle going down. And then there is like this little lingering flavor on the tongue, and that's kind of like a cinnamon flavor. It's not quite as hot as cinnamon, but it kind of leans in that direction a little bit. Oh, this is very Macallan. You know, it just has that signature smell and taste, you know, when you start drinking a bunch of Macallans. This definitely has that, but like a little bit of a fruity note. And I don't want to say like Johnny Walker Blue, like it kind of reminds me a little bit of Johnny Walker Blue, but it definitely does kind of lean in that direction a little bit. The oak influence and the fruitiness. There's no smoke on this whatsoever, but just that oak influence and the ginger and the fruitiness of it all. I mean, this is very well blended. Yeah, just that sweet tartness. Like I said, it's like I think that's ginger. I would most closely compare that to ginger. That is nice. No burn, just nice and smooth. It's blowing me away that this is 48.6%. I mean, there's just nothing there. But, I mean, the flavor is there. It's just bursting with flavor, but there's just no burn. I mean, the tiniest little bit of a tickle, but barely anything. Let's see if it changes with some water on it. All right, 2 drops. Don't want to water this one down too much or drown it because it is just perfect the way it is. It is so good. Very flavorful. I hate being a Macallan fanboy because it is expensive, but I mean, there's literally only been like one Macallan I wasn't a huge fan of. I'm not a huge fan of the double oak, but and I'm not crazy impressed by their 18. I gotta admit, I'm not a huge fan of the Macallan 18. I don't understand why that one's so expensive. Maybe I need to taste it again or try it again, but the one I tasted, it was okay, but I didn't see why it was worth 300 bucks, I'll tell you that. This one so far so good and is definitely worth the money. This is absolutely delicious. Doesn't seem to have changed too much with the water in it. Still just fruity and sweet. I mean, maybe the tart part of the gingers might have ebbed down a little bit. It's more the sweeter and fruitiness of it. That just smells so smooth and friendly and sweet and light and just, oh man, just what you want in a whiskey. Especially when you're not a peat head like me. You like the sweeter whiskeys of it all. Let's see how it tastes with the water. Come by. Kind of took away that cinnamon little tingle that was there and just made it like this smooth, buttery creaminess almost. That is really nice. I mean, this is just crazy smooth and easy and light. Just absolutely effortless. I mean, this is a very pleasant whiskey. Everything about this is amazing. And I mean, it's got a nice color. Knowing there's no color added, I'm definitely going to say there's some older whiskeys in there. And I almost think there have to be as smooth going down as it is. I mean, this is just ridiculously smooth. Oh, and it smells just blissful. Let's put it over some ice and see what happens. So yeah, I believe I paid $184 for this, so it's just a little over $200 out the door. Like what a lot of ice does, it kind of brings out those barrel notes, kind of some of the oak flavors, or oak notes, oak smells, oak aromas. Kind of a sweet and salty smell to it. Maybe a little bit of that sherry note influence from the sherry cask. Oh man, it smells delicious. Don't want the water to melt too much in there, so let's get it. Prost. The flavor's still there. I mean, it holds up. If you're into ice in your whiskey, that's not a bad flavor. It does tamp things down a little bit more than I like. I like this one neat the best. It did have a nice creamy feel and a nice texture with a few drops of water in it. So that wasn't bad at all, but I'd stay away from putting ice in this one, even though it's delicious all 3 ways, but I like it neat the best. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Nice, beautiful oak and sherry notes. That's delicious. Yeah, absolutely. Thumbs up. Oh, man, I'm glad as long as I waited for this one, it didn't disappoint. I wish I knew more about the whiskey inside. Like I said, with that kind of color, I'm going to say that there's definitely some older whiskeys in there. And it is smooth. I mean, it doesn't taste like a bunch of young whiskeys. It tastes just really nice and smooth, and it's just blended together beautifully. I mean, it's just harmonious in its flavor. On a scale of 1 to 10, man, oh, now that it's been in here for a while, this is the first glass. It's really, I mean, it's had the water, it's still got the water drops in it. It's really opened up. That's almost like powdered donut sweet smelling now. It's still just that creamy, It's got a little bit of a tart kick to it now, but just a creamy smoothness. I mean, the fruitiness behind it. Maybe a tiny little bit of clove on the back end, like some baking spices, but just so harmoniously blended together. This is really nice. Scale of 1 to 10, I think I'd have to give this one, just like always, need to spend a little more time with it. But a scale of 1 to 10, I think I would give this one. I mean, really, I love everything about this. I think I would give this one an 8.9, just creeping up into the 9 territory. This is absolutely delicious. And for as high a proof as it is and as smooth as it goes down, I mean, of course, it's a little more expensive, but I mean, it's Macallan. What do you expect? It's going to be a little more expensive. So you want to ding a little more for that, but as long as they're putting a quality product in and using quality cask, you really can't complain about that much. So absolutely all in. The Macallan edition number 6, absolutely worth the wait and 1 approved. 8.9, absolutely delicious, and I am so looking forward to drinking more out of this bottle. I hope you guys are having an absolutely amazing week, and it just gets better from here. And until we see you next time, cheers.